Go.
Good evening, my audience. Tonight I'm very honored to have an author with me, famous author. He wrote a children's book. I'll let you introduce yourself to my audience.
Okay. I'm A. Longus. I authored The Adventures of Savannah and the Magic Unicorn.
And that's a children's book, and it's just before Christmas right now. So what a perfect time. Will you show my audience a copy of your book? And what's it called?
It's The Adventures of Savannah and the Magic Unicorn.
Okay, what is it about? What is the thesis of
Well,
the book?
it's basically a little girl. It's based on my oldest niece. Goes back and forth through time because she wants to be at where they created pizza and pasta, which are her favorite foods. So she encounters the magical unicorn, which her uncle, we call it Zio in Italian, introduces her to this magical unicorn that takes her back and forth. And basically, he is her guide.
And you have a unicorn here with you.
Yes,
is that Zio?
That's Pippo, the magic
Pippo.
unicorn. Yes, Pippo, the magic unicorn.
Is he in the book?
Yes, he is.
And the little children would love reading this story.
I would think so. Yes.
It's a magical story.
Yes, but it's grounded in family values and the tradition, and I don't know any children that wouldn't like pizza and pasta, so it's universal.
So let's talk about that pizza and pasta. So it's based either in the Bronx or Bronx or Italy, right?
Yes, it's
a
definitely
magical one.
Yes. Well, it goes back as far as research could find in the Middle Ages.
So when was pizza actually invented or made?
Well, it's 1500s. There's two that I know of that claim to be the original places where pizza was created.
And that was
in Naples.
It had to be in Italy.
Yes, Naples. Yes.
Napoli.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Remember Dean Martin singing in Napoli?
Yes.
Return to me.
Pizza pie.
Pizza pie. When the moon hits your eye like a pizza pie.
Big pizza pie, right?
So you're Italian?
Yes. Both parents are from Italy.
What part of Italy?
Sicily.
Sicily. And tonight we're being sponsored by Nona's restaurant in Peekskill at the Beach Shopping Center.
Oh, that's nice.
And they make the best Italian sauce you ever made, although he's Albanian, but his wife is Sicilian.
Oh, yes. A lot of Albanians speak
Italian. You know
Italian,
where the sauce came from.
Yes.
Very successful, too.
Yes, I know that. Yeah.
Tell me, what made you become an author? What made you sit down and write a book?
Well, I was reading a children's book to my niece, nursery rhymes, and I felt that the author missed a lot of obvious, rhymes. And I said to myself, you know what? I think I could do a better job, but I didn't want to do nursery rhymes per se. So I have a background in history, so I wanted to incorporate that. So, and also I'm a former teacher. I like to incorporate, something that is educational. And that's how I got the idea. And magical, yes.
Something like The Wizard of Oz. Wasn't that a beautiful movie,
yes, it was.
by the way?
Yes, definitely. Everybody that I know have seen it. It's a tradition. Thanksgiving.
My wife and I have seen it about 200 times, and we never get tired of it because it's such a good, wholesome movie.
Yes.
It's what family values should be and what American values should be.
Exactly.
Not the garbage we see on TV.
That's true. That's true.
But, so you sat down to write a book. How? I want more about how. What got the thoughts in your mind to do it?
I'm going back to 2004 when I originally got the idea.
Okay, so this has been out a while.
Yeah. Well, yes, and I've taken out copyrights since every 4 years or so. Well, the way I got started is that I went to the internet because everything's now on the internet, and searched companies that would do, publishing companies, and they had certain parameters that had to meet. When you're writing the book, there's also certain, literal diameters that you have to be within a certain, certain inches from the margins and this and that and the other. It was all new to me, but
but more interesting.
Yeah.
Where did you get the ideas for the book? What made you think about
Mhm.
writing this story?
Well, I, was a teacher, so I figured let me incorporate, some educational aspect. I just wasn't happy with just a rhyming story. I wanted to appeal to older children, about 8 or so.
You taught young children.
Yes, I did.
What grade did you teach?
At one point, I actually taught as a substitute teacher from K to 12, but my degree is in from nursery to 6th grade. So, but I taught basically 2nd graders and 4th graders.
By the way, I did a TV show last year in front of 3rd graders, and it was one of the most rewarding shows I ever did.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm a Vietnam veteran, and it was on Veterans Day, and we talked about saluting the American flag, the American values, and what it was like to be a veteran.
Sure.
And to see young children in an Ossining school so
Into it,
and interested in what the life of a soldier was like and why it could be a good career for certain people. And
Well, it's
children
important.
of that age group are so
Yes, so they're thirsty for knowledge,
Thirsty for
and
knowledge.
you have a captive audience basically when you're dealing with younger children.
and they had a teacher who called them her munchkins. She
I like
loved the children so much.
Well, that's good. That's you want teachers that love their the children they teach.
Right, and your ideas for a younger child children's book reminds me of two magical shows I saw on TV on Channel 13 when my boy was just a baby, and I would mind him while my wife was working and I was going to college and go work in midnight game. And I'll name the 2 shows. Sesame Street, 1969 when it first started, and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Yes, yeah, they were great. I remember that too. I mean, that when I was a child, that's what I used to watch. Those 2 were the prominent
and I'm
educational
sure some
programs.
of the characters in your book are magical. So
Yes.
tell us about the magical journey with the unicorn and the children.
Oh, okay. Basically, the unicorn is, the uncle tells, that's my character there, Zio, tells Sylvana to be mindful about the powers of the unicorn because, people would, if she's talking to the unicorn, nobody but those who believe in unicorns could see it. So it looks like she would be talking into the air, So, I basically gave her the ropes on how to deal with a magical unicorn. She wanted to go, she loves pizza and pasta, so off we went to when it actually was made. But she noticed, since she's been all of her life in the U.S., New York, it's a new experience. The landscape is very different, and as she's going back in time, people dress differently, and you had to, somebody with a more experience, an older person would know how
I
to
hear
dress.
many areas of Italy, they still dress that way up in the mountains. I remember a year or two ago there was an earthquake,
Yes, about
and it was an older part of Italy where people's houses were made of stone and they crumbled, and it was so sad.
Yeah, I know that it happens every so often, very bad ones too. My grandfather, he was born in the early 1900s, and he remembered an earthquake where a friend and him were standing right next to each other. Earthquake ensued, and they were like 10 feet apart in an instant.
I felt one once, a minor one, in Yonkers, and it was
Now, remember
shocking to feel the earth shake.
The Ardsley Fault, it was.
that
Yeah.
one.
I remember I was jolted out of bed, believe it or not. I thought a truck had hit the curb or something. That was,
We have one that's right under Con Ed. I call it Con Ed Indian Point, but it's Entergy.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
There is a fault there.
They've just
And
found
they
this?
say, no, they've known it
They've
all
known that
along.
yeah.
But they say it only happens once every 100 years.
No,
But you never
we're
know when
due.
that 100
Maybe we're
years-
due.
But we're here talking about a child's
Mhm.
book today. Now, if someone is watching this, and I
Mhm.
have about 1 million homes I go
Mhm.
into in Westchester and Putnam,
Mhm.
and on YouTube all over the world,
Okay.
how could they obtain a copy of it?
Well, they go to ETHNICFABLES.com.
ETHNICFABLES.com.
Yes.
And what do they do?
And you'll see the website there, and
What is
prominently
the
featured.
website?
I'm sorry?
What is the website?
The website is ETHNICFABLES.com. It's
Oh,
and it will have the 2 books. I have one in Italian and one in English.
And what's the title of the book again?
Yes, The Adventures of Sylvana and the Magic Unicorn.
The Adventures of Sylvana, Silvana.
Correct.
And the Magic Unicorn.
Correct. Hmm.
And there's the Magic Unicorn.
Yes, and that's the Magic Unicorn. It's magically staying where it's at. I would thought that by now it would be keeling over and stuff, but.
I hear you have a lot to do with the 4-H club. I hear it's a good organization that helps
Yeah.
people, or you had something to do with it.
Well, yes, they were kind enough to invite me. There's a 4-H media club, and I had 2 nieces that were, participating. It was, I guess, a part of their curriculum. And basically, I did for them what I'm doing right now, explaining about the book. Was it's child-related. And they really loved it. They really took to it.
Now I want to give you some ideas how to
Okay.
market this too. I was in marketing.
Oh,
That's
okay.
my degree from college
Mhm.
after the Vietnam War,
Mhm.
which I went to under the GI Bill.
Mhm.
So I thank God for my country,
Sure.
my service, and the social program they have for disabled veterans
Yes,
to go
that's
to
very-
college.
That's great.
Have you thought about libraries, the children's section? I happen to know in Peekskill they have the field library.
Mhm.
and
That's
they
something I'm
may
looking into.
Permit you to,
That'll be
to-
great. I appreciate that. Yeah.
probably up in Shrub Oak.
Mhm.
And I would think any library that has a children's section might
Yes.
be interested in the book.
Yes, that would be a good idea.
So in your career as an author,
Hmm.
have you been traveling much to promote the book, or you
Basically locally, but
just locally?
Yeah, but since I advertise the book on a platform that goes throughout the world, basically anybody throughout the world that's
Oh, and I
participating
didn't
can see that.
mention this, I'm also seen on YouTube throughout the world.
Oh yeah.
So worldwide viewers who see this, maybe in Italy,
Yeah,
maybe in,
exactly.
maybe in Naples, Italy, or Naples, Florida, might say, hey, it's all about
Oh, why
pizza
not? Why
pie
not?
alla beats.
If it's something
how
that
it started 1,500 years ago. Another idea might be Italian organizations.
No, I've done that. I've done that too.
Enrico Fermi organization in Yonkers. There's one up in Yorktown that's very good. Maybe it would be good to go to their monthly meeting and promote it.
Yeah, that would be a good idea actually.
So what else can we know about you tonight that we feel our audience should know about the author I have on tonight?
Well, basically,
Basically,
interested
you're
in-
retired right now. or not?
right now, yeah, semi-retired.
Semi-retired.
And
Are you planning on writing any more books, or?
yes, if everything goes well, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed, I plan to have another children's book and incorporate, since I have a little nephew, he's 4, to incorporate him into the storyline. So I have something working in my head right now, and eventually I'll put it down to paper.
How did you finally make the decision to sit down and start doing this? I've always wanted to write a book, but I never seem to find the time to sit down and do it. How do you discipline yourself?
Well, it's basically because I was disappointed in the material that my
That was
nieces
out
were,
there.
yeah, and I said they could do better. They could incorporate more educational themes in it, that would help children. And I just wasn't too happy with, a lot. There's some really, really good books out there, children's books, Dr. Seuss, any of those are great because it teaches.
You know what? I can't believe how the time has flown by. Can you kindly tell my audience once again your name, the author of the book, and how they can get it?
Okay. A. Longus, that's A.Longus. The title of the book is The Adventures of Sylvana and the Magic Unicorn. And you could find that on ETHNICFABLES.com. And it goes all over
And
the
your
place.
real name is?
Anthony.
Anthony Longo.
Yes.
Nice to have had you on
Likewise.
the George Ondeck show tonight.
I appreciate that.
And lots of luck with your magical book.
Yes, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
My audience, you've met an author tonight with a good children's book. I urge you, go out, buy it, read it at the library or read it on Amazon. And it was an honor to have him on as a guest on my show.
It was an honor to be here. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Well done.